Legacy IAS. Today we'll be dealing with the topic of linear equation formulation. See, solving linear equations is still easier, that people are able to do. Then if I give you 2x plus 3y is equals to 5 and x plus y is equals to 2, then can you solve this? This is just solving of linear equations. Now, most of the concentration of classes is given to this, that can you solve equations like these or not. But the issue does not lie here. This people learn. There are 3-4 methods. Even if you know one method, you can solve all the linear equations in one variable, two variable. The issue that people or students face is in the formulation of equations. As in, when there are word problems given. Correct? Word problems are given. Like Ram says to Shyam that my age is twice of yours 2 years after. Now, my age is twice as yours 2 years after. My age was 3 times your age 1 year before. Now you need to find the age of Ram and Shyam. So this people get stuck in that. First of all, if I make equations, if I give them equations like something written like this and this that I have written there, if I give them this, then they can definitely do it. But how to form these equations using what? Using the word problem, that is the main issue that students face. So this is why we are taking this topic of linear equation formulation. What will be the major steps that will be involved? Understand. First thing, you will have to read the word problem and then determine what is to be found out. Correct? What you need to find out, first thing is this. Okay, what the question asks? Is the question asking age of Ram, Shyam? What is the final question for which the options are given to you? First thing is that you identify this. Then, after that, you assign variables and note down what is given in their terms. That is, you should assign variables like x, y, correct, a, b. These are variables that you will assign to different quantities, and using those variables you write some terms down. Okay, that what is given to you. Okay, so if you assume that age of Ram is x and age of Shyam is y, and then it is given to you that sum of ages of Ram and Shyam is 30, then you should write something like sum of x and y is equals to 30. That means instead of the words, now you are turning it into equation. Okay, so this is, you assign variables and you write down what is given in their terms. Then once you formulate all equations that are possible, then you do what? Then you solve it. Solving is still easy. That we can see in any other lecture also. That how to solve linear equations. For this you will find many videos on the internet also. Every book also explains this. This becomes very easy. How to solve equations. So this becomes the last part. The major issue that students face is in this part. Okay, so this is our focus for today. Understood? This is what we need to learn. Now, we learn it through some examples. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's see. twice one number minus 3 times a second is equal to 2, and the sum of these numbers is 11. Find the numbers. Now if you see, every part of it is little vague. Now how do you form equations for this? Okay, what is the first thing that you need to determine? First thing, by reading the words you need to determine what is asked. What is the final thing that you need to find? So what is the final thing? Find the numbers. It says numbers. It means there are more than one number. Correct? Now read this. Twice one number minus 3 times the second is equal to 2, and the sum of these numbers is 11. You can clearly see there are two numbers. Okay. So there are clearly, very clearly, there are two numbers. Now these two numbers we need to find out. So first we will assign some variables to, let us assume that one number is x and other is y. Correct? Why we are taking them as variable? Because that is what we need to find out eventually. We don't know the value of them. That is why we are using variables for them. So first thing we assign x and y. X I am taking as the first number and y I am taking as the second number. This is easy. Then we need to find x and y. Now we need to find the value of x and y. Now using these two lines, first line is this and second line is this, I should get two equations. If I get two equations, then I have two variables x and y and I can solve it. That I know. So I just need two more equations. Now focus. How you write these two equations? Read. Twice one number. Okay. So you take the first number, one number, this is the first number. Twice one number, 2 times of one number, that is 2x. Correct? Twice one number. Then next. Twice one number is done. This is done. Now minus, add a minus. 3 times a second. 3 times a second. Now the second part is what? 3 times the second number, which means this 3 times of this second number. Correct? 2 times of the first number minus 3 times the second number. Correct? Now what it says is equal to 2. Is equal to is written like this. Equal to is equal to what? Is equal to, so this becomes your first equation. Can you see? Twice the first number minus thrice the second number is equal to, this is what? There. This is your first equation. This is how an equation looks. X, y variable. It has equal to sign and something on the other side of it. Now read the second part. And the sum of these numbers is 11. Now what it says? And the sum of these numbers is 11. Now this is, wherever you see is written like this, it is usually replaced by equal to. Okay. Now read this. Sum of these numbers. Sum of these numbers means what? What are the numbers? X and y. Their sum means x plus y. Correct? Sum of these numbers x plus y is, in place of is you write equal to, and here what is given after is 11. So second equation becomes x plus y is equals to 11. Let me write this also. So this becomes x plus y is equals to 11. That's it. Now you have to solve these two equations and you will get to the answer. Let me solve it. How you solve it? You multiply it like this. See. You cross multiply these. Okay. So what is the value here? If nothing is written, then this is 1 into 1. So you write 1 here, and here what you write? You write 3 here, not minus 3. Simply 3. Now you multiply this whole equation with 1 and this whole equation with 3. What you will get? 1 into all of this will give you same, that is 2x minus 3y is equals to 2. Now, if you multiply 3 throughout, what you will get? 3x plus 3y is equals to 30. Easy. Then, simply, what you can do? Simply add both of these equations. Plus minus, they cancel out. What you get? 2x plus 3x is equals to 5x. 2 plus 33 is 35. Now 5x is equal to 35, which means x is equal to 7. Correct? You will divide. It is in multiplication here. It will go in divide. So 35 by 5, x is equals to 7. Now you put this back in any equation. Let's say you put this back in this equation. What you get? In place of x, you write 7. 7 plus y is equals to 11. Y becomes 4. These are your two final values. That is 7 and 4. 7 and 4 are those two numbers which, when added twice of this minus thrice of this, you get this, and when they are added together, as you can see, 7 plus 4 gives you 11. Understood? So this is how you have to break down a question. We'll see more examples of it. First thing what you did, you wrote down what is asked from you. Okay, what is the final thing that you want? For those you assigned variables. After assigning variables, you know how many variables you have assigned. In CSAT, you will have to assign 1 or 2 variables only, not more than that. Okay, so this you have assigned. Now what you need to do, you need to find, because there are 2 variables, so you need to find 2 equations from the given conditions. Okay, and how do you do it? Just read it carefully, you will be able to write it easily. Understood? If there is as, you replace it with equal to. This also is equal to is written. So in place of that, you put equal to. Something like these two if you form, then you can solve it easily. Understood? Then let's take another question. See, a mule said to a donkey, if you give me one of your sacks, I'll have twice as many as you. If I give you a sack, we'll have equal sacks. How many sacks was each animal carrying? Now, how to do question like this? See, first thing that you will have to assume is there is a mule, there is a donkey. Okay, now you can assume them having. Now what it says, this mule is saying to the donkey that if I give you one sack of mine, then it becomes this. If you give me one sack of yours, then it becomes this. That means they are both carrying sacks. Sacks are big, like that jute. Once you gunny sack bags, you might have heard about that, you carry on, in which you get wheat and all that. That is what? That is a sack. Okay, so that sack they are carrying. Now he is telling something about sacks. That if I give you, then it becomes this. If you give me one sack, then it becomes this. Okay. Simple thing is, you need to assume. What is asked? How many sacks was each animal carrying? So what is the question? Number of sacks each animal is carrying. This is the question. Number of sacks each animal is carrying. Now, how do you find this? First thing is, you assign variable. Correct? This is asked, number of sacks each animal is carrying. How many animals are there? 2 animals, mule and donkey. So let's say the donkey has, X and the mule has Y sacks. Okay, this you can do. Let's say, so this is of donkey and this is of mule. Okay, now let's see what it says now. First sentence, if you give me one of your sacks, I'll have twice as many as you. Okay, now who is saying this? The mule is saying this to the donkey. Okay, so the mule is saying this. Mule is saying what? That if you give me one of your sacks, I have twice as many as you. If you give me one of your sacks. So what will happen? Now let's say he was carrying X number of sacks, he was carrying Y number of sacks. Now he is saying, if you give me one of your sacks, so this one is giving one of his sacks to Y. Now what will happen? Y will have one more sack, correct? And X will have one less sack, correct? If I have 5 chocolates and you have 6 chocolates, now if I give you one more chocolate from my side, what will happen? You will start having 7 chocolates and I will start having 4 chocolates. That is, my number of chocolates will decrease by 1 and your number of chocolates will increase by 1. Similarly, give sack to him, this becomes Y plus 1, this becomes X minus 1. Now, I have, now if you give me one of your sacks, okay, that he is given, I have twice as many as you. Now, who is saying this? Mule is saying that if you give me one of yours, I'll have twice as many as you. Why I wrote 2 here only? This people get doubt. That it says that I'll have twice as many as you. So one thing is, whatever is written after twice, the next subject is you. So twice of you will be there. Okay, you in this case is donkey because he is talking to donkey. Or a much easier way is, first you simply identify that which has more sacks. So let's say if you give me one of your sacks, I'll have twice as many as you, which means mule is having more than the donkey. Mule is having more than the donkey. This is clear. Now, if mule is having more than the donkey, just hide it like this. Now you have Y plus 1 here, X minus 1 here. Now X minus 1 will be something less. If we need to equate them, I must multiply it with something like 2. So 2 will be multiplied on the weaker side. Correct? This was the weaker side. So this 2 will be multiplied here. Now, this is done. If you give me one of your sacks, I have twice as many as you. This is done. Then, if I give you a sack, we'll have equal sacks. Now what he's saying, Mule is saying, if I give you one of my sacks, which means if the mule gives it. So initially he had Y. Now if he gives him one, what he'll have? He'll have Y minus 1 and donkey will start having 1 more. Now in this condition, what he says, I'll have, if I give you a sack, we'll have equal sacks, which means if I give you one of my chocolates, what we'll have? We'll have equal chocolates. So similarly, he's saying, which means this is simply equal. Understood? In first one, he was saying that already I have more. If you give me one more, I'll have twice as many as yours. In the second sentence, what he says, if I give you one, then we'll have equal. Because I had more, now my number decreased, your increased, so somewhere equal we'll have. Understood? These are your 2 equations. This you can easily solve. I think the answer that you get is mule had originally 7 sacks and donkey had 5. You can solve it and get to it. Main part was the formulation. This you can always solve. Understood? Then next. Yes. See this. A man buys postage stamps of denominations 25 paise and 50 paise for 10 rupees. He buys 28 stamps in all. Find the number of 25 paise stamps bought by. Okay. Now, what is asked? Okay. What is asked? Number of 25 paise stamps. This is asked. Correct? Now, just understand, if there are 2 kinds of stamps of 25 paise and 50 paise, then to calculate or to find number of 25 paise stamps, let's say we call it X, you also need to find Y. Both we get together. That is, from solving 2 equations, you get the value of X also and Y also. Let's say number of 20 paise coins I assume to be X and Y I assume to be number of 50 paise stamps. This I can do, correct? So X is the number of 25 paise stamps, Y is the number of 50 paise stamps. Understood? Now what I need to do? Now let's read the question. What it says: a man buys postage stamps of denominations 25 paise and 50 paise for 10 rupees. He buys 28 stamps in all. Okay. So total number of stamps he bought. What is the total number of stamps he bought? Can I write this? If there are only two quantities, 25 paise stamp and 50 paise stamp, what can I write this as? Total number of stamps he bought is equals to number of 25 paise stamps he bought plus number of 50 paise stamps he bought. Correct. It's like you went to a vegetable shop and you bought total, let's say 3 kg of vegetables, and I say you bought only 2 vegetables, let's say bhindi and aloo. So now what that 3 kilo will be equal to? It may be equal to 2 kilos of aloo and 1 kilos of bhindi, correct? So this will be sum of this, that is total number of stamps he bought is equals to number of 25 paise stamps he bought plus number of 50 paise stamps he bought. Simple, intuitive. Now what it says: he buys 28 stamps in all. That means how many stamps he bought? 28. Now this 28 will be equal to what? This 28 will be equal to number of 25 paise coins, 25 paise stamps. What is that? That is X plus number of 50 paise stamps. What is that? That is Y. This becomes your first equation, that is X plus Y is equals to 28. Now next, find the number of 25 paise also. Now this is your first equation. Now we'll find the second equation. Now for second equation, what it says, that he bought for the total money of 10 rupees. A man buys postage stamps of denomination 25 paise and 50 paise for 10 rupees. Now see this, similar only, but see this carefully. Total money spent on buying stamps. Total money. Here what was the? Here we were counting total number of stamps. If we just count how many stamps I bought, this is this. Now he is trying to count what is the total amount of money that I spent in buying those stamps. Now see, total money spent on buying stamps is equals to money spent on buying what? On buying 25 paise stamps plus money spent on buying 50 paise stamps. Okay, these are the two parts to it. Money spent on buying 25 paise stamps plus money spent on buying 50 paise stamps. Understood? This is understood. Total money, where the total money is spent on buying 25 paise stamp or 50 paise stamp. That's it. These are the only two possibilities. Now what you do? What is the money spent on buying 25 paise stamps? What is the money spent on buying 25 paise stamps? Understand this. Let's say you have 5 rupees lace. Okay, you have 5 rupees lace. You bought 3 packets of it. Now I ask you, what was the total money spent on buying these lace? What you will say? 5 rupees packet, 3 packets you bought. How much money you spent in total? 15 rupees. How you got 15 rupees? How you got 15 rupees? You got 15 rupees using number of Lay's packets into price of one Lay's packet. This is what you did. Number of Lay's packets were 3 and price of one Lay's packet was 5. You multiplied them and you got 15. This is how you actually did the entire calculation. Same thing we'll do here also. Now, what is the number of 25 paise stamps? What is the number of 25 paise stamps? It will be X. Number of 25 paise stamps will be X. Then what is the cost of 125 paise stamp? What is the cost? It says 25 paise, correct? So this stamp also cost only 25 paise. So you write here 25. Understood? This is the number of stamps into what is the cost of one stamp. Cost of one 25 paise stamp is 25 paise. Okay, now same thing you do here also. What is the number of 50 paise stamps? It is 1 and you multiply it with the cost of 150 paise stamp. What is it? This done. This is the second part of the equation where x into 25 plus y into 50 will get. So this is one part of the equation which is 25x plus 50y. Now, what should come here? What is the total money spent on buying stamps? It is given in the question that the total money spent on buying these stamps is 10 rupees. But you cannot write 10 here. Why you cannot write 10? Because that 10 is in rupees. What we have used here is paise. 25 paise, 50 paise. Correct? So that is in rupees. So you first convert 10 rupees into paise. 10 rupees means how many paise? 1 rupees is 100 paisa. So this becomes 1000 paise. Correct? It becomes 1000 paise. So here instead of 10 rupees, what you will write? 1. That's it. These are your two equations. If you solve them, you will get your answer. The answers come out to be number of 25 paise was asked, so it comes out to be 16 25 paise stamps were bought. These two equations you solve. This you can easily do. What you will do? You will multiply this whole equation by 25, correct? And then this will cancel out and you will get to the answer. Understood how you divide it? This was about number of stamps. This was about total money spent on buying stamps. Both were divided into, if it was written here number of stamps, then you divide it into number of 25 paise stamps plus number of 50 paise stamps. If it was said total money spent on buying this, then you divide it into money spent on buying 25 paise stamps and money spent on buying 50 paise stamps. Simple. That is how you divide it and then write it. People get confused a lot in this equation and this equation. Okay, once you formulate this, then it becomes very easy. Understood? Okay, then next. Yes. What it says? It says the numerator and denominator of a fraction are increased by 2 and 1 respectively. It becomes 3 by 4. If the numerator and denominator are decreased by 2 and 1 respectively, it becomes 1 by 2. Find the fraction. First thing, what you do always, write what is asked. What is asked? Find the fraction. Now, what does a fraction look like? Fraction looks like 2 by 3, 2 by 7, 8 by 9, like this. So there are two quantities to it that we usually call as numerator and denominator. Now, it says find the fraction. So we don't know the both parts of the fraction, correct? So I assume it to be x by y. Understood? These are the two variables. Numerator is unknown, I assume it to be x. Denominator is unknown, I assume it to be y. So this becomes x by y. Now let's read the question further. This is what we need to find eventually, x by y. Let's read the question. What the question says? If the numerator and denominator of a fraction are increased by 2 and 1 respectively. Okay. Numerator and denominator are being increased. Numerator is being increased by 2 and denominator is being increased by 1. If you do this, it becomes 3 by 4. Means we don't know this fraction, but if you add 2 in numerator and 1 in denominator, what you get? You get 3 by 4. This is given in the question. Then next part, if the numerator and denominator are decreased by 2, if the numerator and denominator is decreased by 2, so let's decrease the numerator decreased by 2 and 1 respectively. Okay, so numerator is decreased by 2 and denominator is decreased by 1. What I get? You get 1 by. Now this becomes a simple equation you can solve for x and y. How you will solve? There is something called cross multiply that you apply here. This is being divided here. If I send it on that side of equal to, I will multiply it with 3. Similarly, 4 will be multiplied with this. So if I were to write the equations, it will be like 4 into x plus 2 is equals to 3 into y plus 1. I can write it as 4x. This will become what? Minus 3y. Now here I get 4 into 2 8. Here 3 into 1 3. So 8 and 3. Now if I send this 8 on this side, it becomes minus 8. So 3 minus 8 will become minus 5. This becomes your first equation. Can you see? Looking nice. 4x minus 3y is equals to minus 5. Similarly, you make equation here also. So let's make here 2 into x minus 2 is equals to 1 into y minus 1. What you get? 2x, and this is what? This is equal to 1 into y is y. So 2x minus y is equals to what? This becomes minus 4. You send it there. 4 minus 1. This becomes 3. So its second equation becomes 2x minus y is equals to 3. These are the two equations. This you can easily solve. Understood? Understood? This then becomes simple. Just read the question, see what is asked, write it in variables form, then try to make two equations using whatever is given in the question. With practice, you will be able to form these two equations very easily. Okay, it takes time. It will take some time. You have got that PDF of all those 20 examples. So that you do. These questions are also taken from that same PDF. So you can do those questions again and find the correct answer. Okay, and read those questions eventually. Then we will do it in class also. Okay. Or I'll make more videos of it also. Then more and more questions we'll do. That way only we can learn how to formulate all kinds of linear equations. Understood? Now, this is the last one. Now see. 6 years hence, a man's age will be 3 times his son's age. Okay, what it says? 6 years hence. Hence means what? Hence means after 6 years. 6 years hence. Hence means what? Hence means after 6 years. A man's age will be 3 times his son's age, and 3 years ago he was 9 times as old as his son. Find their present ages. Now what is asked? To find their present ages. Correct? Let's see. Question is what? find present ages. Find present ages. Now, how many people are there? There is this man, self-boasting. Okay, I was twice in this. Okay, then so this is one man, and we have a son. Okay, one man and son we have. Okay, now what I can assume is their ages to be x and y, or I can just assume it as man and son. This also is fine, because if you take variables like this, it becomes easy for you to see and recognize. Correct? Instead of thinking what I took as x, what I took as y. So instead of that, let's say their present ages are m and s. This is fine. This is what we needed to find. We assign variable to these. Now what you do? Just read the question. Now what you will need? You know you need to find these two. So what you will need? You need two equations that you need to form using whatever is written here. So let's do it. 6 years hence, a man's age will be 3 times his son's age. Okay. Think in terms of a timeline like this. In ages question, this helps. So this is now. That means today. Today, what are their ages? Their ages are m and s. Correct? Man has age of m and son has age of s. Now, what it says, 6 years hence, a man's age will be 3 times his son's age. Okay, 6 years hence means after 6 years. So plus 6 years. Now, after 6 years, what will be the age of both of them? What will be the age? Understand this. Like today, whatever years old I am, let's say I am 60 years old. Okay, and let's say you are 20 years old. Okay, now 5 years from now, what will be my age? 5 years after, that is, we are in 2025. In 2030, what will be my age? 60 plus 5, 65. Your age will be what? You are 20 now. 20 plus 5, 25. You will be 25. I will be 65. Difference will always be same. Correct? So that is when years pass on. When years pass on, everybody's age increases by the same number. That is why age difference between two people never changes. Like your sister may be 7 years older than you, or 5 years older than you. Then what will happen? It will be 7 years throughout your lifetime. It cannot change. Understood? It cannot change with time. It will always be that difference of 7 years only. Because every year her age is also getting plus 1 and your age is also getting plus 1. So now here if the ages are m and s, after 6 years it will be m plus 6 and s plus 6. Now 6 years hence, a man's age will be 3 times his son's age. Now something is given to you about this, that after 6 years man's age will be how many times? 3 times. 3 times that of his son's age. So after 3 times, what is the subject you are getting? What is the person you are getting? Son. So son will come after 3. So 3 times of son's age after 6 years will be s plus 6. This is your first equation. 6 years after, man's age will be 3 times son's age. Understood? This you got? Then second part. And 3 years ago, he was 9 times as old as his son. Now 3 years ago. So from now you go minus 3 years. Correct? 3 years ago. What you get 3 years ago? His age will be what? 3 years less. His age will also be 3 years less. First 3 years before, everyone was 3 years younger. So 3 years less. So m minus 3, s minus 3. Now let's see what condition is given. 3 years ago, he was 9 times as old as his son. Okay, what is the relation given? M minus 3 was 9 times of what? As old as his son. So after 9 times, what is the person you are getting? Son. 9 times as old as his son. So after 9 times you are getting son. So with son, you write 9 times as old as his son. Done? Okay. So m minus 3 is equal to 9 into s minus 3. Now these are your two equations. You can easily solve them. Let's say what you get, m, and this will become minus 9s is equal to, this is minus 27 plus 3 will go to become minus 24. This is your first equation. Second equation you can get from this, what you get? You can get m, this is 3s, so you subtract here, what you get? M minus 3s is equals to what? This is 6 3s are 18, 18 minus 6. That's it. You solve these two equations, you get to your answer. Understood? Easy. This is how you formulate equations. I'll attach the PDF in the description only. From that only you can see the entire PDF. It is not some new PDF or very special PDF that I may call. It is just taken from ICSE book of class 8th or 10th, I guess. Okay, so this is basic, that is taken from an official book of ICSE. Okay, there they have explained it using, I think 19-20 examples are there, and they have given the question then explained you. So that book may be used for learning instead of using books that are made by some coaching institute or something like that, because those books are made for you to solve more and more questions, to practice more questions. Those books are not made for you to learn the very basics, okay, that you do as a small child or a school going child. So use school textbooks like the PDF I am sharing that, or watch videos of teachers who are explaining you like a school student. Okay, there is no shame in seeing or learning things late. Okay, the thing is that you must try to learn this. Okay, don't always be scared of x and y and solving equations and you keep on leaving that because I am from that background I can't do this. Don't have this thing in mind. Okay, this is very easy. You give some time to it. Once it settles down, it becomes your second nature. It has become second nature for most people, and it will become second nature for you also. So please give some time to linear equation. This is a very important chapter and it is useful in many other chapters. So give some time and you will get through it. Okay, and once you start framing linear equations easily and solving them easily, I am telling you every year 5 to 7 questions, even on a bad year, you can get just by this skill of reading a question, forming linear equations and solving linear equation. This very basic skill of reading a question, forming equation, solving equation will give you 5 to 7 questions of mathematics. I am not talking about reasoning or RC and all. This is just from mathematics. Okay, and usually people don't score much from mathematics. So you just get this part correctly and you will get 5 to 7 questions correctly. Understood? That's it for this lecture. Hope you liked it. Thank you.